We have our esteemed guest, our co-host, Clover, the little tiny baby girl. And so if you hear any noises, they are coming from her.
That was perfectly timed.
There's one now.
Example.
Exhibit A.
Alright, welcome everyone to the next episode of QGP. I'm Zach Tussing.
I'm Charles Fillmore.
Okay, I was going to introduce you, but
okay. I'm sorry.
You're an independent person. You can introduce yourself.
Well, no, I don't want to take that thunder from you. You can if you were like on fire for introducing me, you go right ahead.
No, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, it's been a really slow news week. If you're a Nintendo fan, not if you're a PlayStation or iPhone fan, but so we don't have a whole lot to talk about. But speaking of iPhone, at the Apple press conference, whatever that thing was. Surprise announcement of Super Mario Run.
Yes, this was like the first thing. Like the event started and they announced that Mario was coming to iOS, and I was surprised because I did not think that was ever going to happen. I thought Nintendo was actually very adamant about Mario not being on mobile platforms.
Yeah. So was this was like what you said? This was one of the first things.
Yeah.
You talked about.
Like, because I was able to watch the whole event almost live. Like, I was probably a couple minutes behind.
Okay. I did not watch this, so.
No,
I just watched that section.
I actually hopped off of the stream so that I could message you.
Yes.
And tell you that you needed to watch it right away because Mario was happening.
Yeah, so I thought this was very weird, especially since I was expecting something about the new Animal Crossing or Fire Emblem, and we got a new Mario game, kind of.
Yeah, I'm a little more optimistic, but at the same time, I do have some concerns. It doesn't seem like, like I said, it doesn't seem like the sort of thing Nintendo does.
Yeah, I would say, like, when I saw this announcement, like, just the name itself, Super Mario Run, is the most generic thing. Like, there are a million games like this already on iOS and Android. Right. And this doesn't seem like when Nintendo said they were getting into the mobile market, I assumed they were going to be doing some like very different things, kind of trying to innovate in that space. And this game is very much not that innovation. Right.
That being said, it does, like, just from the gameplay that they showed, it looks like they're taking the typical Mario platforming and just applying an endless level design to it. Or not necessarily an endless level design, because it looks like there are goalposts.
Yeah, there are ends to the levels. I'm assuming it's going to have some kind of overworld, but I think the way that it was presented was that you download the free demo version of the game, and then the in-app purchase is the rest of the game. So you kind of pay to unlock the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Which I think that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah,
is to let people try a game, and then if they're into it, then they can purchase the rest of it. But having like a full game experience locked behind a paywall, like from the get go, I feel like that hurts. That can hurt a lot of games.
Yeah, as someone who's been buying games, brand new for quite some time, that doesn't bother me at all, but I can understand from a mobile aspect, like a lot of people are just looking for something free to download, and there was definitely a lot of hype, at least from the like non-Nintendo fans for this.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of hate, not fully warranted hate for this game.
I'm going to play this when it comes out.
Oh yeah, I will too, although I'm going to have to wait until 2017 because I'm an Android user, so...
Right, because they're rolling that one out later.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of timed exclusives, and this one really doesn't make a lot of sense because there's so much hype around this. Like, I think a lot of people are going to forget about it, Android users at least.
Yeah, like kind of a I forgot that was a thing. Like
Yeah.
when it comes out for Android.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I have two kind of main feelings about this. The one is that this has been done before. Like there are so many endless runners or level based runners, and they're not innovating with this title.
No.
But on the other hand, I feel like this could be their chance to show, like, they could make a runner that, like, they could change how runners are typically done.
Add some extra depth, I guess, to it.
Like
and
this-
I understand this game is not for gamers. Like Nintendo made it clear. Like this is, kids these days are growing up, and their first games are on mobile, and this was really Nintendo's way of trying to get like this generation of kids into Nintendo products early on.
Right, because everyone has a smartphone, so that's like you have access to these lovable characters. Everyone is familiar with, and you're very young. You're growing up with Mario on mom or dad's smartphone, and then later you see like, Mario for the Wii U in the store, and like, oh, I really like the game on the smartphone. I want to get this game with him on it for this game system, and that I feel like that could be part of their strategy.
I'm assuming that is, yeah.
One thing, like, whenever something like this happens that people have mixed feelings about, I typically one of my thoughts is that I'm excited for the potential that it invites for future products, such as I'm trying to think how best I want to describe this. Like it opens the door for Mario. Like Mario he's on mobile now.
Yeah.
So what could they do next with him? He's already out there. They don't have to.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
They've broken the ice, basically.
Yeah, and really, there's a lot of places they could go with Mario on mobile. This game in particular is very generic. Like when I was watching this looks like if the new Super Mario Brothers games are like stripped down Mario games, this is a stripped down new Super Mario Brothers game. So. There were only 3 environments that they showed, like the overworld, underground, and Bowser's Castle.
Oh, I don't think you need to worry at all about there being an ice lava jungle level. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, as a Mario fan, like there are better looking levels with these same themes in Super Mario Maker. I guess that's like one of the few things I'm worried about is that this is going to be like really boring after a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
There didn't seem to be a lot of interesting elements, especially when you get rid of power-ups, since you can't really...
Well, that could be something that they're planning. Like, they have the bare bones. They have the super mushroom and maybe the 1 or 2 other power-ups.
It's just the super mushroom with them. I mean, they could do stars, like the star...
They could add different power-ups that can change how you tackle a stage. So, like, you can... If you have the super mushroom and you hit a brick and you get the super, you would get the fire flower.
Would it have to like race ahead of you though?
They might make it so that like if you hit the brick, then you automatically get the power.
Huh.
Although I think there seemed like there was there might be some mechanic where you can turn Mario, like you could like maybe swipe to the other side of.
No, you can't turn him. There are blocks on the ground that send him backwards.
Okay, so they could probably set up some situations where like you would be able to navigate back and pick up a power up, but I feel like they would streamline it so that you would just naturally run into a power up when it became available.
Yeah, they mentioned like this is a Mario game that you can play with one hand. They made that very clear, and I'm not sure how you do things like the fire flower or raccoon suit. Or Tanuki suit or whatever.
It could be like they would tie the action button to the jump button, so there would be an element of strategy where like you can use the fire flower, but you sacrifice something because you also have to jump. So like, do you need to? You can take out the enemy, but you might jump into some spikes.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I could see that.
So I feel like there's potential for them to innovate in that regard.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think more than anything, I'm excited for the potential for Mario to grow on a mobile platform.
Yeah, the one really the one negative I would have to say about this, and it's not actually about the game, but it's that Nintendo is delaying Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing because of this.
Yeah,
That made me disappointed.
Yeah, I like we've said before, we're both very excited for those titles coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe we could talk more about because we talked a bit about Animal Crossing. Maybe we should talk a little more later on about what we think Fire Emblem's going to be
That's
like.
true. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't really cover that.
But we're both very excited for those titles, as are a lot of other people.
Yeah.
So it's a little disappointing that we have to wait like that much longer.
So they said they're moved to around March 2017, those titles, or at least one of them. I don't know if they're coming out around the same time.
I don't know if I've read this somewhere or if it's just like I've been under the impression, but I think I've been under the impression that Animal Crossing is going to come out and then Fire Emblem will.
Huh. I don't think they've ever said that. They keep putting them together. Like when they mention one of them, it's always is like, Fire Emblem Mobile and Animal Crossing Mobile.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I mean, obviously they said like both versions of the game are going to be like really streamlined for the mobile platform.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Nintendo's whole strategy with these mobile games is to get people to be interested in their IPs outside of these free phone games. So
right, and that gets them interested in like the Wii U, or the 3DS, or the upcoming NX.
Yeah. Speaking of smartphones, there's a new Kirby Miitomo promotion. Did you see this?
Oh no, I hadn't seen this. This is news to me.
Yeah, so there's like 2 new Kirby Miitomo drops coming out, I think on the 15th of this month.
Okay.
They're giving away like in-game T-shirts through My Nintendo for free, and then you can like buy a little Kirby to rest on your shoulder from the shop. So this is really cool. It's just way too late.
Yeah, they should have had this around the launch for Robobot.
Yeah, because there's a Robobot T-shirt that you can buy using My Nintendo points. So, are you gonna turn on Miitomo again to play?
I did actually re-download it today.
Oh, you deleted it.
Yes, I had deleted it.
The truth comes out.
Yeah, it is my shame. I was so excited for Miitomo when it was announced, and the first week that it was available.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't a game. There was nothing beyond answering questions and every so often dropping your character on some new outfits.
Yeah, and like when the game first came out, my phone was having problems, like internet connection problems, so I couldn't download the game like the first couple days, and you were just like hounding me to download it. Like, have you got it yet? And then it was
and
so I was like really hyped for it after you after you made it sound so great. Yeah. But the funny thing is, I'm still checking in basically every day, just to get the free giveaways and to farm for My Nintendo points.
Yeah, I think I need to get in the habit of doing that. If for no other reason than to
it takes like a minute, and you can get a good like 10 My Nintendo points, and then once something like this Kirby drop comes out, like at one point I had 28 game tickets. So
didn't you spend like a whole bunch of them trying to get one of the Metroid?
Yeah,
drops?
Samus's helmet. I finally got it yesterday. I was so excited, way more than I should have been. But I probably spent about 10 game tickets trying to get that.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, I got every color of Ridley, every color of Super Metroid T-shirt, and basically every Power Suit color variation. So
that's
unintentionally.
And also landing on the candy, so that gives you a chance to earn extra tickets for extra tries.
Yeah. Although I've had some really terrible luck recently. I think I went like 14 times in a row without getting a game ticket in the candy drop. So, anyways, enough Miitomo. I don't think anyone else cares. Speaking of My Nintendo, we've been wanting to talk about this for a while now, and if you don't know what that is, it's the replacement for Club Nintendo, which was Nintendo's loyalty rewards program, probably back in 2008, 2009, and it died a couple years ago. So
it's been around for a while.
Yeah, And I mean, it was an archaic dinosaur of a reward system, but it worked, and it had a lot of good stuff that you could get. So, and it's been replaced by this thing, which was supposed to really connect all of Nintendo's current platforms and PC and smartphones. I mean, what they mentioned, like when they were talking about this thing, it sounded amazing, and then it came out, and it wasn't. So
Yeah, there are options. Your choices are basically like 15 or 30% off of titles that you probably already own.
yeah,
Some like 3DS home screens.
I mean, yeah, the home screens are decent, but they're
all,
not.
like they're all digital rewards.
Yeah, and they said physical rewards would be coming. I don't know if they're waiting for NX or some kind of new boost in Nintendo popularity or what, but this is such like Nintendo has just forgotten about this thing. If you go into My Nintendo right now and you look at the Miitomo rewards, you can get 5 game tickets for 420 coins and 10 for like 250. So this was a error that they made quite a while ago, and they still haven't fixed it. So that just shows
get
you,
both of them.
like, it's such a terrible deal to get 5 game tickets. But I don't know what else. Any other thoughts?
The coin expiration.
Oh yes, right. Yeah. So platinum coins. Well, I guess we should talk about the coin types for anyone who
Yeah,
doesn't
so
know.
there are 3 types of coins. There are Miitomo coins, which you earn by playing Miitomo, and they are silver with I think a blue outer lining,
Yes, but they're really just platinum points.
which
They've just made it more like needlessly complex.
yeah, those are like the silver coin. Well, I guess they're platinum coins.
Yeah, they count. They have the same tally. They count both Miitomo and platinum coins together.
They have their own separate bins. You have your platinum sitting next to your Miitomo coins, but they both are the same thing. And then you have your gold coins. I think you purchase those with real money.
Yeah.
Or you get them by purchasing Nintendo products.
Yeah, so like any game that you download like $5 to $10, you get 10 gold coins for. So
I haven't had any chance to make use of the gold coins.
yeah, they last a year now. That was actually an update. They only lasted 6 months as well, and probably because they're worth more, they extended the life of them. But those you can only buy like virtual console games that most people already have.
Right.
So I don't know. And even like with the bins, I kind of have a story about that. Like the first time you sign into My Nintendo, like they take you through the whole tutorial on the site, and then they're like, all right, so for going through the tutorial, we're going to give you 10 coins, like 10 platinum coins. And I was like so excited. I was like, oh cool, free, 10 coins. And then they're like, here, go down to the rewards section. I'm like, okay, I don't really have anything that I can buy yet. And then they show you 3 different bins, and then they're like, here, click these to redeem them, and they're 10 coins. And it's like,
So you take the coins that they just gave you
and they
purchase
force you. They lock
bins.
down the rest of the site until you buy those 3 bins. It's like, why would you not give those to me free? Like, why tease me with 10 coins?
It's like in mobile games where in the tutorial you have 5 gems starting off, and they tell you to spend one to rush that building so that it gets done real quick fast. And I would always just wait the minute so that I could hold on to that one gem.
Yeah. Yeah, except they make you do it. I mean, the entire site is shut down, and then they just have the blinking redeem thing. And so it's like, but I don't want... It's just like a way to like visually see that your fake coins are organized.
Right.
It's just, they're digital bins for digital coins. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And also back to like what they're offering for rewards. One of the neat things about Club Nintendo was that every so often they have a really cool physical reward. One of my gripes was that Europe got the better ones, like they would get soundtracks.
Yeah.
But I mean, in North America, we would still get we would still every so often get a pretty, like we got the Skull Kid statuette.
Yeah.
That was a neat one.
Yeah, they had like a Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser statue.
Yeah,
it was actually pretty big.
There was a Legend of Zelda messenger bag at one point.
Yeah, I remember that. And a Pikmin tote. I remember that.
So there some pretty cool stuff that would be that anyone would be genuinely interested in getting. That's all gone. It's just downloadable with like coupons for downloadable media.
Yeah, and don't forget the prizes in Miitomo.
Oh yeah, so you could spend some of your points on outfits in Miitomo.
Yep,
that like your character just wears.
Yep, that's a thing.
They don't. I mean, it's.
So let me ask you, what have you spent your coins on, or have you spent them on anything?
Game tickets, just game tickets.
Really? Have you been buying the 10?
I just did it the one time.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't played enough that I've needed to buy more.
Yeah.
Like if I haven't wanted to play the Miitomo drop game badly enough that I never have any tickets for it.
So, any final thoughts?
As it is, my Nintendo is a laughable replacement to Club Nintendo. But as ever, I'm always hopeful that things will improve.
Yeah. And 6 months, they really should make it a full year. I mean, I don't know what their reasoning behind 6 months was.
Right. So you can't even hold on to your points and wait for them to come out with a decent reward.
Yeah, because I'm over there like Scrooge McDuck swimming around in my Nintendo points, like just waiting for something good to come out. And I always get so nervous. Like when I see a reward, I'm like, I should probably use these points before they expire. But I have a feeling something's good coming, and then it never does. And then I wish I had bought the thing that is now gone. So
that's another thing. Club Nintendo, like they had regular updates, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
I feel like monthly there was something new.
Yeah, and
at least, or maybe every couple of months.
They are updating My Nintendo like every other month, but it's like for new Miitomo clothes or coupons.
If they're going to put this much effort into making rewards for Miitomo, then they need to put a little more effort into Miitomo itself.
Yeah. And it's ridiculous how much content that they've added to Miitomo, but only like
cosmetically.
Yeah, exactly. Like more of the same stuff. Like nothing to get people back into it.
I don't know.
I think we ran out of things to say about that.
I mean, it just kind of leaves you with this like bitter taste in your mouth. Thinking about all of it, because like me especially, because I was so excited for Miitomo and so excited for the new version of Club Nintendo, and they so far have been pretty disappointing stuff.
Yeah. Although we do know that when they first unveiled My Nintendo, they mentioned that at some point you're going to be able to take your phone and your account to the theaters, and any Nintendo licensed film that you will get platinum points for, or probably golden coins.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. So that will be a thing in 20 whatever.
That's right, because
whenever they make movies,
Nintendo was in talks with. I think with Netflix for a Zelda series.
That was just a rumor.
That was a rumor?
Yeah,
okay.
That was never...
But I did see articles about Nintendo in talks.
Yeah, there was a rumor that they were partnering with...
was it Warner Brothers or Universal?
I don't know, because Universal is doing the theme park in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting a Nintendo-themed theme park in like 2020, but only in Japan, so... Start saving up for those tickets now.
Yeah. Do you think they'll have, for the theme park, do you think they'll have an actual, like, they've got to have a Mario Kart section?
Oh, they have to.
It's like...
They just have to.
It's like, so obvious. Like, they've got to do it.
Yeah. How would they do, like... How would it be any different, though? How could they do it any...
They might make it, it could be like laser tag. So, like, you wouldn't actually throw, like, shells or bananas at everyone.
There could be, like, a screen on the steering wheel that you tap or something. Or, better yet, like, double dash. Like, have someone on the back who's, like, the gunner.
Yeah.
And as you, like, as you run over, like, your cart goes over, like, some part on the track, it sends feedback to the person in the rear with the screen.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
So, like,
this needs to happen.
Maybe what if they made it so like you have the two people in the cart,
Yeah.
and they're strapped down, and they have VR headsets.
Oh my gosh.
So they're driving around on a physical course,
Yeah.
but they're seeing in-game objects like shells and bananas and
Oh my
item
word, that would
boxes.
be amazing. How much do you think that would cost to make, though?
That would cost so much.
That's
But-
a high number, Charles.
Well, I mean, I don't because I don't know how much
Yeah.
this stuff would.
Yeah.
I'm.
I wasn't asking for a direct thing. I was just trying to bring up the point that would cost a lot. But
It
yeah,
would-
that would be amazing. I would love to see that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. In a perfect world, with unlimited money, Nintendo could make something amazing like that, and I think it would be a smash hit, and everyone would forget about Miitomo being bad.
And My Nintendo. Actually, at
Yeah.
that point, you'd probably get coins for going to their theme park. How big do you
So
think
it would be kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese type deal where you would earn points. Maybe you would earn like a different kind of coin
Yeah, and
that
then
you could exchange for.
they'd force you to buy a special bucket for it. A digital bucket for your stupid coins.
Yeah, but you would earn these like rainbow coins or something, and you would exchange those for prizes you could pick up in the park.
That's interesting. Yeah, like if you or you could like use your My Nintendo points to buy lunch or something.
Yeah, sure. Because like maybe you could redeem them for cash prizes, or like like it could be like if you have so many, that's that many chances that you could win the big prize, which would be an NX and $1 million.
I like how you put the NX first, like.
Well, because that's what Nintendo wants you to be interested in.
Yeah.
And then they would have the asterisk, and in tiny print it says also $1 million.
It's just just in case you want to buy some of our other games.
It reads also, $1 million.
How big do you think this park is going to be? Because it's going to be a portion of Universal.
I've never been to Universal, and I've never seen like a map of the whole thing, so I can't say how large it is.
Yeah, same.
Just from what I know of it, it just seems like such a large place. So
Yeah, because they did the whole Harry Potter like Wizarding World thing, right?
yeah,
So if they put that much effort and they had like Hyrule Castle that you went into,
yeah.
or Peach's Castle, you just like watching kids jump into and face plant into paintings.
No, Peach's Castle would be great because there are so many secrets. They would have a section where you can go through the window and you would go down the slide in the castle.
Yeah, and have like an actual like legit bottomless canyon for kids to fall into if they don't slide properly.
Okay, maybe not that part, but
Actually, that would be really fun.
The
Slide, not
Okay.
not murdering kids and throwing them into the core of the earth.
Although some would argue there is a certain appeal.
Wow, we have massively rabbit trailed. What were we even talking about?
My Nintendo.
Yeah,
And then we got off on the park.
yeah. So another news article I wrote down here is Nintendo's interest in amiibo support for mobile games.
Yeah.
Like, what would your dream amiibo support be for that one card that you have, and your eventual Wario and Waluigi?
And glow in the dark Boo,
Of course.
of course. Also, I really want to get Isabelle because she's just too cute.
Isn't she only available in the bundle for Amiibo Festival?
I think so, and I think there are two versions where she
that's
has
right,
like
they
her
have, like,
summer
a-
and winter
yeah.
outfits. My dream amiibo functionality with the one card that I have, and the card that I have is Lottie, the otter who
Everyone's favorite otter.
everyone's favorite otter from Happy Home Designer. Like she was made specifically for that game.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
Wait, was she?
I think so, because
Huh.
I think she like Lyle.
Yeah.
The insurance sales otter.
Yeah.
I think that she is his niece.
Okay.
I think that's the relationship. I could be wrong there. But amiibo functionality in general. So a lot of smartphones these days have NFC built in.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, pretty much like it started becoming standard around 2014, I think.
and for phones that don't have that support, they either won't compensate for it, or they can do what they did for the original 3DS and have that base that connects to the device
Yeah.
that you can scan your amiibo on.
Yeah, true.
So that's
Although it might force like depending on what the functionality is, if it's really really cool, it could force phone companies to start putting that in more standard. So,
like if it becomes a feature like everyone is talking about it,
Yeah.
phone companies will be like, well, I mean, if we want our stuff to be a hit, we have to have this functionality built in.
yeah. And really, anything they do on mobile would probably be more interesting than anything they've done previously on both Nintendo 3DS and Wii U. So,
Right.
and this is coming. I have like probably, I think I have over 50 amiibo right now, and they're collecting dust. I dust them about like every month because
I think every time I come
use
over
them.
to your house, you have like one or two, maybe three, or like I don't know how many more to show me, and your collection just feels larger.
Yeah, I've really fallen off in the past month because they've stopped doing the Smash series. They've stopped making them, and there's like a few. I think there's about 10 Smash series amiibo I'm missing, and at this point, if I want to finish that collection, I'm going to have to order them on Amazon. So, and I'm just kind of dreading that. So
I'm basically stalling. I can't think like what the closest thing I can think of is similar to what they're going to be doing with New Leaf with the amiibo update for the Animal Crossing mobile game.
But we don't know what the functionality is on New Leaf.
Right.
So
Maybe they could like say for Super Mario Run, they could do what they've done with Super Mario Maker, and you tap down an amiibo, you get to play as that character.
Huh. That would be interesting. I don't know if they do it just because of the like new Super Mario Brothers U style HD graphics, but
Yeah, although I mean, probably worst they'd have to do is just like pull a model from Smash Brothers and then animate it for, animate it with Mario's skeleton. So
yeah. Yeah, I don't know how awkward it would be to get an 8-bit sprite to like have the same kind of movement, but
I don't know. They're kind of doing that with Sonic Mania, where they have these pixelated sprites, but they're so fluidly animated now. So they could do something like that with this.
yeah, they could. They could also do like themed levels with it. Like you kind of get like a more Link theme level if you.
So maybe you could, or it could unlock like a series of character-specific stages.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's
like
true.
you would.
They did that with Mario versus Donkey Kong Amiibo, whatever. I don't remember what it's called. Like the millionth one of those they've made. But they made a free-to-play one for Amiibo users.
Amiibo Party. I don't know.
Just throw anything after Amiibo. But it was basically like it was a free-to-play game. There were about like 10 levels that you could play without with just one Amiibo. But then they had like every Super Mario character had their own world for like 6 levels. And they were like Donkey Kong had mine carts as his big thing.
Yeah.
So something like that.
I think I remember that. That's the more Lemmings type version, isn't it?
All the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games are like that, except the original. And they've made a million of those things. Like that in Picross. Like when they have nothing else, like hey, we need a game, and then they just put like I feel like some team at Nintendo is always working on one of those. Because like they announce them whenever there's a lull in releases. They're just like, hey, Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Amiibo, whatever.
Amiibo Journey. I'm gonna come up with a different one each time.
Yeah.
Although the Picross 3D 2.
Yeah, the 3D
that does
games.
look good.
Yeah. But like for instance, like one of the games on my Nintendo is The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess Picross. There's only like 45 puzzles, but they just threw that up there because like, hey, we need some kind of game to give away to people to make it seem like this is a legit.
It did kind of feel like they just tossed out there, hey, we just launched this.
Yeah.
They're kind of looking around on their desk and they open their drawers. Here. and they reach in and they grab the first thing they can see, and it's Legend of Zelda Picross.
Yeah, because they have like they made a Pokemon one that was free to play on 3DS, and I think there was another one, but yeah, that and those are like their. I'm surprised those games haven't come to mobile. I mean, I know they're like third-party Picross games, but
yeah. Well, some of the more mobile focus or mobile-esque games like Pokemon Shuffle have actually been ported to mobile devices.
But like no Mario versus Donkey Kong, and that's a game that would really benefit from a touchscreen.
Yeah.
So, like that would really do well on a smartphone.
Yeah, smartphone games are really good for puzzles, where you have like a limited amount of space and a limited set of tools, and you can set up in situations and basically I guess I'm just saying it's exactly like Mario and Donkey Kong is perfect for mobile.
Yeah, it really is. How many of those have you played?
I've played just the one for Game Boy, the Game Boy Advance, I think.
Okay, but that one's not a Lemmings type game though. Like,
that
that's
one,
a platformer.
you control Mario for that one.
Yeah, all the other ones.
That one felt more like Lode Runner than anything.
Yeah, it did. It really did. And it's probably the best one in the series.
I really enjoyed it. Mario and Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it's a thing. There's a bunch of them, and I get suckered into like every single one, and then I get frustrated because they're like, why do they keep releasing these?
Yeah.
But we should probably move on to the last news article here. Interplay is selling all of their IPs.
Yeah. The only ones like I know off the top of my head are Earthworm Jim and Clay Fighter, and you said Boogerman.
Yeah.
It's wild.
But
it's like Interplay is one of those titles that's like you couldn't say off the top of your head what characters are associated with that company, but like you've definitely played an Interplay game.
Yeah, exactly. I when I saw the article, I was like, wait, Interplay, what is that? And then I clicked on the article, and there was a picture of Earthworm Jim. I was like, oh yeah, I played that. So their whole reasoning behind this was that like in this new world of VR and like motion controls and everything, they really wanted to like see their brands, like see other companies innovate with their brands.
Okay. I don't know how well Earthworm Jim would do in a VR environment, but
I was trying to imagine that, like Earthworm Jim VR.
Yeah, I mean, it would really depend on how they did it. Like, it would maybe if it were a third person, but like, because they did Lucky's Tale, which was a third person platformer.
Okay.
Done in VR, which.
Oh, not
which
Interplay.
got okay reviews. No, not Interplay.
Okay, I was like,
so they could do something similar to that with some of their
or make Earthworm Jim 3D HD.
Oh,
Nowhere to go from there.
I mean, they could. Well, they could make it better.
They actually could. They really could.
They could fix the. Well, that would, I think, inherently give you better camera controls because you would have to have.
Yeah, by necessity. Like it's so hard to go back and play that game. Like the camera is just so broken by comparison. So.
One of these days we'll have to do a recording because I have it. I have a copy of that game, so we'll have to do.
I had one and I sold it at a yard sale for $1.
No, my youth pastor years ago had a disc copy of it. And
wait, for what?
For PC.
Oh, okay.
And so I borrowed it from him, and I played that for like the longest time.
Oh, I thought it was only on N64.
No, it was also for PC.
Okay, it was probably worse on N64.
Yeah, I've never played it on N64, so I can't say, but N64 has kind of a bad frame rate, so.
Yeah, it was like chugging at a whopping like 15 frames, 20.
So we were talking about Earthworm Jim in VR.
It's like, how do we get back on topic here? Did we pretty much say everything?
I
mean, I feel like outside of like the fact that Earthworm Jim uses his head to beat enemies as well as his gun, I don't think that would work in a first-person environment. But like having the gun with like a Vive controller
Yeah,
would be interesting.
I honestly don't think Earthworm Jim would be a good VR game.
Yeah.
However,
Booger Man though,
well, I was
the dark gritty reboot, as you said.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine that too hard, honestly. Because I think it wasn't a main mechanic in that game, like picking and flicking.
I never played it,
Boogers.
but the subtitle was a pick and flick adventure. Yes.
Yeah, and also farting. That was
Really?
that was a major mechanic.
Well, I wouldn't put it past it. I mean, if you're gonna go with boogers,
Yeah,
why
you
not
might
include
as well go
farting?
the whole 9 yards.
Clay Fighter though, I'm not sure what they could do with.
So
Give it to NetherRealm.
what if
Make it-
Nintendo buys, because they did Kirby and the Canvas Curse, and that looks amazing. No, the Rainbow Curse.
Yeah, with the clay aesthetic. That would be weird. That would, like, because I'm sure they put Kirby in there, like a clay Kirby, in with these other clay fighters.
But I feel like because they did it so well, they could get that. They could really nail that clay
Yeah.
rendering.
Was that game series any good though? Like, I think I played the first one and it wasn't that great. Like, it was more that it was charming than that the actual gameplay was responsive.
I don't know because I never really played it, but
Oh, okay.
a lot of people seem to really like it. So there must have been something to it.
Okay.
I know Earthworm Jim was actually an unlockable character in that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
In one of them, I think the third one.
They made a lot of them, so yeah, probably.
I think one of he said eat cow a lot.
Did he?
Yes, a lot in that
Okay.
in Clay Fighter. He'd be like, eat cow, eat cow. that was his thing. His famous catchphrase, eat cow.
Did he say that in the game? In his games?
In the first game, you launch a cow.
Well, yeah, and like, I think do you whip them in Earthworm Jim 3D with your head? You can, I know, but
I don't think there are like NPCs that are cows, but I don't think
okay.
You get a cleaver gun that it shoots a giant meat cleaver that's kind of like it acts like a boomerang, and there are a couple of cow enemies that you can only use that item on to defeat.
Okay.
It lops their head off, and they make a horrible noise when they topple over.
We've done a really good job selling listeners on this game.
I love Earthworm Jim 3D. I don't know if they were to make a new, or if someone, okay, what do you think the next Earthworm Jim game should be? Like, how do you think they should do it? Should it be a 2D platformer, or should they try doing a 3D?
I mean, I would say the safe bet is a 2D platformer, but there are just so many of them out right now, especially with all these indie games. I feel like it would have to work really hard to be distinct, but I'm not sure at the same time, like, if a 3D platformer would be any good. I mean, it would have to be better than Earthworm Jim 3D, but
I mean, he could join the renaissance of 3D platformers like Ukulele, Hat in Time, Lobo Destroyo.
yeah, that's true. Like
So-
everyone's favorite 3D platformcaming mascot,
Earthworm Jim from his famous game Earthworm Jim 3D, critically acclaimed for being bad and bad camera controls.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what I'd want to see out of the next Earthworm Jim. Like, I hope someone picks that up, and I'm sure someone will, some developer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder how much these IPs cost.
You know what? I don't know.
We should put a fund together, and we should buy Earthworm Jim rights.
Yeah.
Then we can make the future of Earthworm
I
Jim.
can't. I mean, I'm having a hard enough time making my own RPG, so I don't want to be in charge of cult classic and much loved Earthworm Jim.
You can just make it into the Earthworm Jim RPG.
But that's not the game I want to make. So I don't think that would be good for me. However, that could be my second game. I will
okay.
make because I keep thinking about it, like there should be a Sonic RPG.
Yeah.
There should be a Kirby RPG. So why on earth should there not be
An
an
Earthworm,
Earthworm
Jim.
Jim 3D RPG? No, not 3D. Oh man, it's right up. It's just stuck in my brain. It has to be Earthworm Jim 3D.
I don't know how to get us out of here.
Yeah.
Somebody take us out of here.
I think maybe we should not buy Earthworm Jim, but we should buy his next game.
Yes, that was well worded.
Yeah. I don't know if there's too much more to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know like a lot of Interplay's IPs, so I can't really comment on the rest of them, but apparently there are a lot.
I feel like Interplay is that game company that you always see and you skip through when you're playing an old game.
Yeah.
That you easily get confused with like Visceral or Vivendi.
Yeah, or Majesco, I think, made a lot of games back
Yeah.
then, like forgettable. Like they really had a forgettable presence, but they had games that like you knew you played like something from them. But
Yeah.
okay, so this week, to honor the Metroid 30th anniversary, we're going to give our personal top 5 favorite Metroid games. That's favorite, not best. So
And as I guess also just sort of a general discussion about our feelings regarding the Metroid series.
Yeah.
So just kind of a Metroid love fest, I guess.
yeah,
Okay.
Metroid Zero Mission is my favorite Metroid game,
Mm-hmm.
just of all time.
Yeah, I think Zero Mission or Fusion. I might have Fusion first, but Zero
Really?
Mission would be second.
See, I guess like Fusion was too linear for my tastes, but I don't know, I mean, I really like both games, but I feel that like going back to Zero Mission, like that is my like legit favorite Game Boy Advance game too. Like it's so smooth. Yeah, and like just they took everything that the original did so well and just made everything better. Like I rarely go back to the original NES game, just because it's hard to go back without a map, first of all, and then in this game, like it also adds that like extra mission at the end.
Yeah. I will say I love Zero Mission and Fusion equally, honestly. So it's hard to put them on a list, one above the other. I guess I would have to put them kind of both on the same spot.
You gotta pick then.
Yeah, I gotta pick which one I like the best. I'm gonna stick to my guns. I think I like Fusion better because it has the strongest emphasis on story. I think
This side of Other M.
Other M had a heavy-handed emphasis on story.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out very well. Although the Prime games have a lot of lore. So, and this is the thing. Whenever I try and rate things like on 1 to 10, and I have a lot of options, I have a lot of opinions and a lot of conflicting.
Yeah. Like this is really hard for me, but like my second favorite game is Metroid Prime, the original. And it's really hard because like I love that game so much. I'm actually replaying it right now, and it is just I love the fact that like you basically pick how much story you want. Like it's not one of those that it like forces a story in your face. It's one of those like as if you use the scan visor more often, you can really start to pick up the pieces on what's going on with the Chozo, like what happened so many years ago, what's currently happening with like the space pirate logs. And like the way it builds atmosphere through scanning the environment.
Yeah, the Prime games, all three of them are fantastic.
Agreed.
Because
all four of them. Well, no, 5, because there's Hunters and Federation.
They don't count. The Prime trilogy, the one in the metal box, the three Prime games that you get in the metal box with the artwork. Or that you could get in the metal box with the artwork, are all fantastic. And I guess it would be cheating to say, oh, I like the Prime trilogy.
Yeah, you got
That's
pick.
number 2. I feel like Prime 2, actually, I prefer over 1. Because it's a little more cinematic. I feel like level design was kind of better. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I played it.
No, I mean two is really good. The reason that I put the original Metroid Prime over that is just because of like the initial awe factor that I experienced with the original, and the fact that like the second one does too many things that I think are too similar to the original. Like when you really take the beam weapons, for example, and the progression system, like it's really copy pasted from the original Metroid Prime. Now, I mean, the story is very different, but there's just elements like the sky keys that you needed. Because, like, what was the collectathon thing in the first Metroid Prime?
So, in the first Metroid Prime, you had the Chozo Temple.
It was the artifacts, yeah.
Yeah, you had to...
Yeah, and that was easily the worst part of the game for me.
Trying to figure out where all of those things are was a nightmare. Because
I can't remember.
They were so well hidden.
Yeah.
Like there was like a pillar in Magmore Caverns that you had to blow apart.
That's right.
That it was just like hiding inside of.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Because like you had to go to the impact crater to get the locations, but could you get them all at one time, or did you have to keep coming back? I can't remember.
Well, so because it's a Metroid game, you obviously couldn't get all of them at once. Oh, you mean like...
I mean, scan for their locations though, like because there were like the 12 pillars, and you had to scan each one to get like a vague reference on the map of where it is located.
Oh, I think you could. I don't remember. I think you could get all of those at once. Okay. And then you could just...
I'm coming up on that point soon.
I think you could just prioritize...
replay, so I'll
like, depending on where you are. Like,
yeah.
I'm this close to where I think the next one is, so I can go there.
Yeah. Yeah, just stuff like that really feels similar to me, so I guess that's why... Like, they rushed out Metroid Prime 2 Echoes.
Yeah.
There are definitely... Like, the multiplayer is so throwaway, too, in that game. It was just that came out at the same time as Sony's Killzone and Halo 2 from Microsoft, so...
Yeah, it's kind of like a Me Too.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like someone at corporate was like, "Hey, you guys need to put a multiplayer mode in here." But
although it was interesting in multiplayer to see from another person's perspective how the double jump works, because apparently you don't see it because you're in first person.
Yeah.
But Samus does the spin. Like she does a spin jump.
Yeah. It's just that would be like the most dizzying thing if you actually saw it.
Yeah.
That is true. I had forgotten about that. But I mean, I think both games are really good. It just feels like they took the same structure from the original and then just like made some improvements on it. So
that makes sense. I'm gonna be flexible with my list, and like you raise a lot of good points. So I think the first one is stronger than the second one, but the second one is still so good.
Yeah.
And I do like a lot of the things it does cinematically that the first one did.
Yeah. I mean, still though, the best moment cinematically in the original Metroid Prime is that intro where you're on the frigate Orpheon.
Yeah. It feels almost like an archaeological type find. Like you're or maybe that's not the right, like a mystery.
Yeah.
You're starting to uncover like a bunch of these. You're like raising questions like, how did this happen? Like, why are all these people? Like, what's going on? Why am I here? And everything starts falling into place, and it's just that's such a good opening. And then fighting the Parasite Queen.
Yeah.
Is like a fantastic end to that opening.
Yeah, it was so great they made a Smash Brothers stage of it. So. That's really not that great, but
it's all right. It has a neat mechanic, but other than that, it's all right.
Moving, getting past Smash Brothers stages. So those are my number 1 and 2.
Okay.
Number 3 would have to be Super Metroid for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is like for its time, that is easily the best, like most cinematic game, like of that year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of that is nostalgia as well, because like I grew up playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason it's not higher for some of like the more veteran fans who might not be happy with that, with putting Zero Mission higher, is just that I think like Super Metroid is so much easier to get stuck in Like the puzzles and whatnot are just not as intuitive, in my opinion.
I think the trickiest part was always was it Meridia? The flooded area.
Yes.
That like snaked all over the place, and it was so easy to get lost.
Yeah, I mean,
but everything else, it just like it's such a good game, because as you're going along, you see things, and you're like, oh, I guess I can't go that way, but then you get powers, and you're like, huh, I bet I can go this way now, and you remember those different locations.
yeah, I mean, like the Metroid formula had been established in the first two, but this is the first one that started the Metroidvania that we think of today.
Yeah.
The one that like really nailed what that was.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, very inspirational game for many developers.
And what would you put as your fourth?
I probably Metroid Prime 2. I'd probably put it fourth, and then Fusion is fifth.
Okay.
I think that's how my list would go.
All right. I'm trying to think. I'm just gonna go with like overall, instead of trying to like say, well, this thing did one thing better, but this thing did another thing better.
I'm just picking these based on the enjoyment level that I had playing them for the first time.
Yeah.
So.
I think I played Zero Mission and Fusion. I played both of those about the same time. So they both kind of feel very similar to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's hard to pick one. It's really hard to pick one of those over the other.
Yeah, because like Fusion did focus more on storytelling, but it was a bit more linear. Like they really did show you like exactly where you needed to go for the next area.
Yeah.
And part of that was story related with like the Malkovich computer.
Yeah. I gotta go with Fusion. I like the character development, specifically with Samus.
Yeah, and like the X-Parasite that like is in her armor.
Yeah.
That made for like such an intimidating villain whenever like that thing was on screen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just like the concept of having a space station with all these different ecosystems in it was really neat.
Oh yeah, that one was set on a bottle ship too, right?
Bottle ship was on Other M.
Well, yeah, but I mean that was the same thing, like a big ship with multiple ecosystems.
Yeah, similar concept, but Fusion did it better.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe Other M is just like a higher production value, but just a worse version of Fusion, not as good.
Yeah,
it's Fusion. It looks better, but it's not. Because it had a lot of similar elements that were introduced in Fusion. Like Adam himself was a character, and Other M actually sets up the events in Fusion.
Yeah, I mean it takes place between Super Metroid and Fusion and bridges the gap between them. I just feel like we didn't need a whole game about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what medium I would have wanted that in, but
I mean, it could have been a movie, and I feel like you can make a great movie with a fairly silent protagonist. Like, I don't think if Metroid were to be made into a movie, I don't think Samus should be mute. But she should be collected and very calm and thoughtful versus being hot-headed and verbose.
Yeah, which she was in the intro flashbacks in Other M.
Yeah.
So. Did she talk in Fusion?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
She did talk a couple of times. I don't think she really talked much in the beginning.
Yeah, I know it was more towards. So here's the thing. So Other M she speaks, Fusion she speaks, and then in Federation Force, which is like right before Super Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
So but she was mute in all the other games before that. So what happened?
She just because she was the only person around in those games. There was no need for her to talk.
Well, but like in Metroid Prime 3, she was on a bridge with like a Federation ship with a ton of other officers and soldiers, and they would talk to you.
Mhm.
but she would say nothing. The only thing she did in that game was vomit. Do you remember that section?
Yeah, that was
That was so weird.
when you first, I think, after you defeat the first Omega boss.
Yeah, and she like gets infected with the Phazon and like takes off her helmet and pukes all over the.
Yeah, and I remember.
It's got to be the weirdest moment in any Metroid game, right there.
It was kind of weird. I remember, and this was like me, like the beginning of me, getting it into. I didn't grow up with Nintendo games, so this was around the time that I was really beginning to get into the Nintendo stuff. And I remember it felt kind of weird, even though I didn't have that much of a relationship with Nintendo, that there was a character who swore right at the beginning of the game. Like it was just like a really quick. I think like the
in
Captain.
Prime 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. They took that out for the trilogy, didn't they?
Did they?
I'm pretty sure they did.
See, because I only ever played the.
I think there were like enough people like, what? That they actually like took that out and they like censored it in the.
All right, so this is my homework. I'm gonna pull out my copy of the Prime trilogy, and
that happens in like the first 10 minutes. So
yeah,
you should have an answer pretty soon.
Captain Admiral is like, cusses a swear right there. And he's like, oh, I guess it's not E10 and up, I guess.
So any final thoughts, Metroid stuff? Anything Metroid you want to?
I just don't have the heart to categorize. Like, I like certain games better.
Yeah, so I had a top 5. Charles had.
I have
a thing.
I have a blob of Metroid games, and they're all just kind of poking out of it. And I just walk up to that blob and I give it a great big hug.
But first, you peel Federation Force out of there.
Federation Force isn't in that blob.
Where is it?
It is in the trash can.
I hope the copy I loaned you isn't actually in the trash can.
It's still sitting on the TV stand where it's been there for like 2 weeks. Yes, contrary to my statement that I would try my darndest to get through Federation Force.
Well, you did try your darndest. It just didn't work out.
I could have
2 weeks.
I could have tried darned harder.
I guess where do you want to see, like, what Metroid game do you want to see next? Like, if you could have, like, besides the Prime 4 with open worlds and contracts that we mentioned before.
I'd like to see something that kind of sets up the whole Metroid timeline, sort of a Skyward Sword type deal, except not.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty well documented that Zero Mission / the original Metroid, like, is her first mission, like, as a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to go back to that, like, weird Galactic Federation on Coruscant, like, when she's, like, giving a thumbs down in a meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I played that game.
I completely forgot, like, that was her thing.
Yeah, she's like, thumbs down.
It means that I understood it perfectly, but also I'm a bit of a rebel. Yeah, I'd like to see sort of an origin stories type deal, where she's growing and becoming strong with the Chozo there. And then, like, maybe that's like the tutorial, and then the Chozo are destroyed, and it's sort of set up from there what happens next. Maybe it could be like it flashes back to, like, she's learning a particular ability, and then when she goes back to the present time, she remembers that that's a thing she can do, and then you have that ability.
Yeah. So where would it be placed, though? If she'd be looking back, then, like. I would like to see one after Fusion, because Fusion is the last game in the series, and I kind of like to see, like, a fresh beginning kind of thing.
Yeah. So I don't think that kind of flashback, like, ability learning would really work, because it's so late in the series. She's like, she knows what she can do. Is her joining the Galactic Federation sort of her revenge against the space pirates? It was the space pirates who defeated the Chozo, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So is her joining the Galactic, or is she a mercenary? No, she's a bounty hunter, so she...
Well, she left the Federation after the thumbs down thing, like out of rage or whatever, and then became a bounty hunter.
Okay, so she kind of works with them, but she doesn't work for them.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it just so happens that like most of her missions have been on contract for the Federation.
How much does she get paid to do all this stuff, I wonder? What does she do when she's not... Metroid 4, what if it were... Like, she's not actively hired by the Federation, so she's hunting, like, her own bounties.
Yeah, I think that would be far more interesting. So,
Like, what if it, like...
well, and if it takes place after Fusion, she wouldn't be working for the Federation because the Federation was keeping Metroids against. I don't know. They were kind of they were covering it up.
Yeah.
So,
like, they kept... What they do, it seems like they do, is they'll keep one of the Metroids and they'll research it, do a bunch of experiments,
yeah.
and then things get out of hand in a bad way, and they're like, "Oh, Samus, can you come save our hides?"
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, really, is the Federation that much better than the Space Pirates? They're both experimenting on alien creatures.
Yeah. I guess.
That would be an interesting element to explore, like Samus's revenge against the Federation.
Yeah.
And then as a boss fight, that you fight the Federation force.
So there could be like a morality path you could go down. Like you could join. You could maybe join with the Space Pirates towards the end of eradicating Metroids.
Yeah, I can't imagine Samus joining the Space Pirates though, just because of Ridley. But
right.
And because
right,
you know
Ridley was the captain, wasn't he?
Yeah, because he's the one who killed her parents. So.
It's so weird thinking of Ridley as a captain because he's always just like the monster boss.
Yeah. Has the greatest boss theme though.
Oh man, I love it. It's just so good.
So that was us gushing about Metroid. We need to wrap this up now because this is going to be. Sorry for going long. So any final thoughts on anything we've talked about?
No, I think we've pretty much touched on everything. Well, going back to the Apple event, I'm excited for the iPhone 7, and I'm also excited for everything Nintendo's doing mobile-wise.
Okay. I can't say I'm real excited for Super Mario Run. I'm glad if one of them has to be, one of Nintendo's mobile games has to be a timed exclusive, I'm glad it's that one. I would be legit upset if it was either Fire Emblem or Animal Crossing.
Right.
So. All right, so that was our show this week. I guess that's it.
What a graceful exit.
Yeah, it was perfect. We should have music right now.
Yeah.
Fading us out of this, but so anyways, I am Zach Tussing.
Are you gonna outro me or?
I was gonna let you do that.
Okay.
You've been doing it before, so.
Well, but you see, you were gonna intro me, and then I took that from you. So
I'll intro you. You outro yourself.
Okay. So, all right. Is that the established canon then?
Sure. We just made it up right now.
All right.
So let's start this again. I'm Zach Tussing.
I'm Charles.
And that's Clover Fillmore.
I'm Charles Fillmore. And this has been
QGP.
Thanks for listening.
We put her to sleep every time.
Yeah, I think it's just that constant bass.
It should be like our slogan. We put babies to sleep. Here at Quadratic Scheming. We're so interesting.
Yeah, that is our that's our tagline. We put babies to sleep.
Yeah.
So imagine what we can do for you. That's probably not a good one.
Hooked on sleeping pills? Get off them with Quadratic Scheming.
no more music boxes. Just tune into Quadratics Gaming.